What's up, everybody? My name's Chance, and today, instead of diving into a deck, since we're so close to the next set coming out, and by the time I end up making it through all the cards will be spoiled. So I figured we're going to go ahead and start on the spoilers, and the way that we're going to be sorting them is by the spoiler date. That way, when new cards come out, we can just check them out, and I don't have to like try to figure out, all right, let's resort these or whatever. So we are going to be doing them by the dates that they were spoiled, but it just makes it easy on me. If you can't read it, it's too hard to read, let me know in the comments below. I'll make it a little bit bigger for next time, but figure this is something we can do. That way I'm not trying to create a deck out of something that I've already created 1,000 times. Y'all get new content, and it's kind of like taking it easy, sort of. Not easy on my voice, of course, because I'm about to be reading. Anyways, Vorpal Sword, 1 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has Death Touch. For 8 mana until end of turn, Vorpal Sword gains whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to the player. That player loses the game equipped to. Now, I'm happy that it is an activated ability in order to win the game, because just equipping something, just making something have a high equip cost isn't enough to really impact it. As far as usefulness goes, though, it's any deck that would want to use this, I don't think would ever really end up using the 8 mana cost, you know what I mean? Because it's going to be a low to the ground aggro deck. Generally, if you end up in the 8 mana range, I mean, it'll be here and there kind of thing, but I think you'll want something over it instead. Another creature, more destruction, more disruption. There's a lot of other stuff that's going to fill its space. So it's not necessarily that it's horrible, it's just that there's better stuff. Tiamat. Well, anybody that played League of Legends knows what that is. It's never mind. 7 mana, 2 plus all 5 of the basics. Dragon God, hey. That hits two pretty big categories. We've had a lot of stuff interacting with both dragons and gods and pulling them out of your deck, so we'll see. Flying, when Tiamat enters the battlefield, if you cast it, search your library for up to 5 dragon cards not named Tiamat that each have different names. Reveal them, put them into your... oh, that's where you lose me. Put them into your hand, then shuffle. 7 mana, 7/7 with flying. When it enters, you can find up to 5 dragons. Well, it's not fantastic. It's honestly not even more than Mythic. But it's, I mean, I guess it's okay. It's just okay. Definitely don't pick this up unless you're deep into dragons and or just wanna own every card in the game for some weird reason. But I don't think it's actually going to be too playable. Fun card, I think. Well, sorta. It's gonna be so incredibly difficult to play, and then when you do play it, you're gonna have this like almost meaningless payout, because an aggro deck will stomp it out, or a control deck will just immediately, either counter it or destroy it. So you'll either need more than 7 mana, because you'll need to fight the counter war or protect it, or you'll need to already have a bit of board state, enabled, and a bit of board control. In which case, once you get to 7 mana, if you already have board control, again, you'll generally want something better. So, just my opinion on the first few. Prosperous Innkeeper, 2 mana, 1/1. When Prosperous Innkeeper enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. I like that. It essentially means that it's only costing you 1 mana value total to cast it. To cast it. You know what I mean. Furthermore, whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, gain 1 life. Whoa, that's pretty good. Any deck that can't immediately remove this card is going to regret it. Mono red, mono white, that kind of stuff. They can't get this out of there. It's going to be a little bit of a heavy price to pay. It's a halfling citizen. Oh, it's a hobbit. Oh, that's cute. I think it'll be the fact that it's an uncommon is the best part about this. Everybody will get to, you know, take their turn with it. But I think it's going to be a nice little sort of ramper. It's not going to ramp you hard, you know what I mean? Like you pay 2 mana, you get that down. On the next turn, you can cast a 4 mana card that, you know, let's just say Questing Beast enters the battlefield, gains you life. Maybe not the biggest impact in the world. I don't know. Of course, if you're playing with treasure tokens, which we see in Gruul with Magda, you know, Goldspan, I guess the value increases. Anyways, power word kill. We don't have all the time in the world. So my general opinion about Prosperous Innkeeper is pretty cool. If you like what colors it's in, and you like what it's saying, then pick it up. I decided not to do with a number ranking system because it just gets a bit blurry. Power word kill, 2 mana instant, destroy target non-angel, non-demon, non-devil, non-dragon creature. Ooh. So, okay. It's not as bad and as targeted as it sounds. You still have humans, warriors, goblins. You still have a lot of stuff. The problem is everything it's naming right there, I think is not everything, but the angels, the dragons, hell, even maybe a few demons. I think those are pretty commonly played cards in aggro, mid-range. Probably won't see it in the top echelon unless there is specifically, you know, none of those. But in the lower levels, again, it's an uncommon. People will pick it up, they'll get it received, and they'll use it. Portable Hole, I do like this, the idea of it, it's pretty cool. 1 mana artifact, when it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls with mana value 2 or less until this leaves the battlefield. But it's an artifact, and artifacts are a little, you know, finicky to remove sometimes. Anyways, then we have the lands, which, you know, I'm not gonna lie, they all look really, really dope. This set, not that they don't always, but you know, when I look at a land and I'm like, hey, that could be an actual card, then you know you're doing something right. Again, that sounds a little, you know what I mean. I'm not trying to sound like an asshole. Drizzt Do'Urden? I'm gonna say that wrong. Elf Ranger. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like this art better, but for the longest time, I thought it was the big old cat. I didn't even notice that there was a guy standing right there, or an elf. 5 mana, 3/3, double strike. A little costly, but I like it. When it enters battlefield, create a, I'm not even going to try and say that. Create a legendary 4/1 green cat creature token with trample. Alright, well, that's power. That is certain power. Whenever a creature dies, if it had power greater than that card's power, put a number of +1/+1 counters on equal to the difference. Ooh, okay. So, you know, maybe Selesnya Counters has some something to work with here. This is like the top end of what they would be playing. But again, you play this down, 5 mana, 3/3, 4/1. Maybe you would already have something like a, the little doggo, Selfless Savior. Is that it? It's got to be it. Already down, ready to, you know, sort of protect this card. Then it gives you maybe a little bit more ability to just keep swinging and bashing with the creatures you've previously made. I don't know. I want it to work, though. It sounds very, very cool. Then we have Brunor, Battle Hammer. Are these references to Lord of the Rings? I know it's D&D, but like Dwarf Warrior and Elf Ranger. They had the Hobbit. 4 mana, 5/3. Each creature you control gets +2/+0 for each equipment attached to it. You may pay 0 rather than pay the equip cost of the first equip ability you activate each turn. 0 rather than pay 4 mana. It's a 5/3. That's what's like, oh, it's not gonna make it. It's not. It's just not, because we still have the Frostbite, right? And that deals 3 damage. It's 1 mana, instant speed. I don't know. Y'all know me. Equips, kind of lackluster. And you would be playing this in the turn that you could instead be playing Winota. It's just a lot to give up. I like this one though. I do like that. Alright, Lolth. Lolth? Spider Queen. I like the art. Seems very disgusting. You know, spiders. Whenever a creature you control dies, put a loyalty counter on the Spider Queen. Okay, any creature you control, that's cool. 0, you draw a card, you lose 1 life, that's cool. -3, a little expensive. Create 2/1 creature tokens with menace and reach. But I mean, if you think about it, once those 2 die, then you'll have only lost 1 loyalty for having created the 2 of them. So it makes sense in terms of what you're actually paying, you know, total, I guess. Net, not gross. Anyways, -8. You get an emblem with whenever an opponent is dealt combat damage, specifically combat damage, by 1 or more creatures you control. If that player lost less than 8 life this turn, they lose life equal to the difference. So it's basically saying you could have something like a Serrated Scorpion, swing in, hit once, and then this ability will deal 7. So you'll for sure deal 8 damage every time you connect with the opponent's face. I mean, you'll see a Golgari Vorinclex deck for sure come out with this, because Vorinclex is trample. This thing come down, immediately pop the emblem. It will be cool. It will be fun. I'm for sure gonna play it if I get the chance. You know, what more do you want me to say? I like token spawning stuff. Do I think it's the greatest in the world? Probably not. Do I think it's competitive? Probably not. Do I think we'll make it work? Yeah, most certainly. Most certainly. Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Okay. 3 mana, sorcery. Each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until that player has exiled cards with total mana value 20 or more. Well, no, yeah, in what deck are you playing this in? Because it's not a mill deck. Not a rogue's mill deck, at least. If you're playing in, like, ye olden classic, you know, just trying to get you to 0 mill deck, then yeah, sure, that makes sense. But maybe it's a sideboard card that you try to bring in? I don't know. Flumph. Oh, I love it. I love it. 2 mana, it's a jellyfish. It looks fantastic. Defender, flying. Whenever Flumph is dealt combat damage, you and target opponent each draw a card. It's a flying 0/4 jellyfish that draws you and the opponent a card. Problem. And y'all know me, I just generally point out the problems first. Problem with this: your opponent's attacking, you're using this to defend, they get access to that card on their turn, which means if they went first, right, they play down a 1 mana creature, they hit you in the face, you're like, ah, crap. And you're playing this in a mid-range deck or whatever the heck, because it's not going to be in an aggro deck. So you don't play anything turn 1 maybe, or maybe you do, whatever. Then turn 2, they play another creature, they attack, you attack. Turn 3, or your turn 2, you know, you play down this, they play down another creature. Oh, it's fun. Attack, attack. You block, or maybe they don't play down a creature. You know what I mean? Attack, attack. You block. This card's been dealt damage. They draw a card, you draw a card. They probably have the removal for this card, so essentially you got 1 turn of defense and 1 card draw, but they also got a card draw, so you didn't even get card advantage. I don't know. I mean, if you can exploit this, it's fantastic, right? If you can exploit the whole drawing a card, blah, 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 cool. But just off the rip of what it's going to be played in and what it actually does, I think it's kind of bad. An adventure for characters 1 through 4. Dungeon. I'm not sure what this is. Is this like classic Evolving Wilds, or is this like something all new? Sacrifice Evolving Wilds, search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tab, then shuffle. Okay, it's just like different art. Ellywick Tumblestrum. Oh, I like the name. Venture into the dungeon. +1, that is the ability. -2, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. If it's legendary, you gain 3 life. Put the rest into the bottom of your library in a random order. The top 6 cards reveal a creature. -2, it's a 4 mana planeswalker. The whole legendary thing doesn't really matter unless the legendary deck specifically comes out, but that's how it always goes, you know what I mean? Of course you know what I mean. It might save you in the here's and there's, but it's nothing you're going to be shooting for, is what I'm saying. I mean, it's okay. What's the last thing? You get an emblem with creatures you control, have trample and haste, and get +2/+2 for each differently named dungeon you've completed. Well, that's okay, because again, if you were to play that in a Vorinclex deck, as long as you complete even 1 dungeon, you know, every creature coming down with trample and haste, +2/+2. If you can manage to put a counter on them, you're putting 2 counters on them. Mono green stomp, you could be strong. But I also don't know how good the dungeons are going to be. So we'll see. You know, this is one of those cards we'll have to come back and assess as we're getting through the set. How long have we been going? 17 minutes. I want to keep these videos to a relatively, you know, a fair amount of time, so that way people don't just feel like they're wasting time sitting down, but I also don't want you to feel like you gotta spend an hour watching this stuff. So, Gloomstalker, 3 mana. As long as you've completed a dungeon, Gloomstalker has double strike, 3 mana, 2/3, Dwarf Ranger. I like it. For a common, it's good. For anything else, you'll see it in draft. Shortcut Seeker, 4 mana, 2/5, Human Rogue. Whenever a Shortcut Seeker deals combat damage to a player, venture into the dungeon. Don't pick up that card unless you're just doing something crazy. Nadar, Selfless Paladin. Oh, and here's another version. So 3 mana, 3/3, Dragon Knight. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I'm happy that they're bringing dragons down a bit. You know what I mean? Dragons are oftentimes way up here. It's nice to see them being brought down to the lower cost and to being a smaller creature in general in terms of, you know, world scale. Anyways, Vigilance, 3/3. Whenever the Selfless Paladin enters the battlefield or attacks, venture into the dungeon. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. I don't know why I said +0. As long as you've completed a dungeon. As long as you've completed 1, all your other creatures get +1/+1. 3 mana. It's not restricted in its color cost. It's a non-human. You know? Yes, absolutely. As Vigilance, I can't think of a single thing that's like, meh. Unless dungeons just are absolute trash tier. But it seems really solid. So we already saw those. Then we have Cloister Gargoyle. Do we have a normal picture of that? Way down there. All right, whatever. I'll just read this one. 3 mana, 0/4. When it enters the battlefield, venture into the dungeon. Fairly simple. It's a 0/4. It doesn't have flying. Doesn't have... I mean, I guess if it's specifically Stone Gargoyle, that's fine. But y'all know me. You put wings on a creature... Kind of needs to have flying. At least if it's wings like this. If it was some like little freaking penguin wings, then sure, I get it. But look at those things. Same way, if you give someone a bow and tell me that they don't have reach, I'm gonna tell you to redo the piece, or you know, maybe convey better with your artist what the card's gonna have. As long as you've completed a dungeon, Cloister Gargoyle gets +3/+0 and has flying. Wow, I should really shut up sometimes. Alright, that's cool. Again, depending on how dungeons go, it'll be alright. You'll see it in the here's and there's, the people that are trying budget decks and recently got into Magic, which I think is fair. Or you'll see it in draft. All those are lands. All those are lands. Evolving Wilds. It's yeah, looks cool. Dungeon Crawler. Hey, we got a zombie. 1 mana, 2/1. Enters battlefield tapped. Hey, you know, for 2/1 in the black color scheme, we've seen this before. We've actually seen this exact stat line in mana cost before. Man, and I'm struggling to think of what that card was, but it was played fairly. Was it a skeleton or a zombie? One of those two. It was a good card. Anyways, whenever you complete a dungeon, you may return Dungeon Crawler from your graveyard to your hand. You know, they keep talking about dungeons. I just want to see one, man. I just want to get to one. Cloister we've seen. Oh, and now we get into cards that I actually can't read, and I'm going to have to open new tabs for. 21 minutes. And we're on June 9th. And we have all the way to July 3rd. It's not even hardly down. All right, we'll go to 30 minutes. Let me open that up. We'll come back to Tiger Tribe Hunter in a minute. Celestial Unicorn. 3 mana, 3/2. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Celestial Unicorn. Oh, it's a common? Yeah, okay. Yeah, again, you'll see it in the here's and there's, maybe in draft, but it's not really a build around. And y'all know me, I'm really only concerned with the build around. Now we have a 3 mana Dragon Turtle. I love it. I love the concept, at least. Let me see the practice. 3/5 flash. Whoa. Has a drag below. When Dragon Turtle enters the battlefield, tap it and up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. They don't untap during their controller's next untap steps. Do you have to? Yeah, because it doesn't say you may, so you have to. Tap it and up to 1 target creature. So you have to tap it. 3 mana, 3/5 with flash. Tap it on their turn immediately. Your turn doesn't untap. Neither does one of their creatures. Back to their turn. You know, creature doesn't untap. Whatever, they go through the motion. Back to your turn. You now have a 3/5. Their creature's still tapped. Maybe. Maybe it's okay. We might see it in some mid-range deck or maybe a dragon deck. I don't know. I'm happy to see these low-cost dragons, though. Intrepid Outlander, 2 mana, 2/3, reach, pack tactics, which I have realized that pack tactics is sort of one of the mechanics of the set, if you will. One of the other mechanics is just cards or creatures having effects or abilities, if that makes sense. I'm sure it does in a D&D sense. Whenever Intrepid Outlander attacks, if you attacked with creatures with total power 6 or greater this combat, venture into the dungeon. If you attacked with creatures with total power 6 or greater this combat. So it could be this thing plus something that has 4 power or 3 2-power creatures, you know, any of that. I mean, hell, a 2 mana 2/3 with reach, that alone is pretty solid. For an uncommon, it's an Orc Ranger. Ooh. I've seen a whole lot of Rangers. I hope we see something more with that later. But we haven't seen anything with the Orcs, so nothing too exciting there. But it is a non-human. Maybe, you know, maybe we get something out of that. Ranger's Hawk. 1 mana, 1/1, flying bird. 3 mana tap. Tap another untapped creature. Tap another untapped creature you control. Venture into the dungeon. Oh. Yeah. Draft kind of thing. Baleful Beholder. 6 mana, 6/5, common card. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1. Each opponent sacrifices an enchantment. Creatures you control gain menace until end of turn. Alright, well, I see why it's a common now, but honestly, not a bad common. Not a bad common. In draft, yikes. 6 mana that can give menace to all your creatures. It's really good. Wish. You may play a card you own from outside the game this turn. Okay. Actually, probably one of the worst sideboard draw effects I've seen, because you have to play it this turn, right? So you have to pay 3 mana and then go find it and then play that. But we'll probably still see it used, because anytime you have a sideboard access card, it gets played because, hey, it's extra cards. Although now probably a little bit worse, given it's only 7 instead of 15, so you may not always have the answer. Anyways, Hobgoblin Captain, 2 mana, 3/1. It's a blade with pack tactics, so if you attack with total power 6 or greater this combat, blah blah blah, gains first strike until end of turn. 2 mana, 3/1 with first strike, just for having another blade potentially on the board. That's not bad. That is not bad. Given you'd be playing this in a mono red deck where you have fervent champions coming down. Sorry. If I remember, I'll try and cut out those parts. But you know, you just constantly read all morning. It's gonna affect your throat. White, right? Oh. Am I saying that right? I feel like it's a pronunciation error there. Anyways, Zombie Soldier, 2 mana, 3/2, enters the battlefield tapped. We're seeing a lot of that. Life Drain, not Life Gain, Life Drain. Whenever a creature dealt damage by this card this turn dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token and exile that card. Ooh. Honestly, that's really strong. 2 mana, you're getting a 3/2, which is a little bit better than a blade. Honestly, it does enter tapped, but not going to be attacking with the blade on turn 1 anyways, and we have things like Rimrock Knight, 3/1 blade that's currently played anyways. Whenever a creature dealt damage by white this turn dies, create a creature tapped. Anytime that you get to attack with this and it gets to live, you're just feeling good about yourself. Gelantina. Okay. Saying that so wrong. Oh, it's a different language. Well, I don't feel bad then. How many? A lot of cards got it spooled. Okay, and we're on 27. We'll do this last row and then we'll call it. We'll come back. Starting on the dragons. We have black dragon, green dragon, adult gold dragon. So tons of dragons to dive into. But for this line, Battlecry Goblin, 2 mana, 2/2. Goblins you control get +1/+0. Oh, 2 mana, might I add. And gain haste until end of turn. Pack tactics, blah blah blah. Create a 1/1 red goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking. 2 mana, 2/2. Goblin. You know, goblins are either really fun or really dangerous, but they are within the group, the tribal group of my like really favorite stuff to play. Zombies, angels, goblins, elves, oozes, all of this stuff I find, dragons, all this stuff I find very fun to play. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I like what you're potentially offering up there, Battlecry Goblin. Anyways, Inspiring Bard, 4 mana, 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1 Bardic Inspiration. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Or Song of Rest, you gain 3 life. 4 mana, 3/3. It's a draft card. Alright, you find the Villain's Lair. This is directly Dungeons and Dragons. Obviously. 3 mana instant. Choose 1 counter target spell. Draw 2 cards, then discard 2. That's really interesting that they're doing a choose 1 on a counter spell. It will get played, I think. I think that's a very solid common. Oh, that's really good. In draft, that's going to be really annoying. Dueling Rapier. 1 mana, artifact equipment, flash. When Dueling Rapier enters battlefield, attach to target creature you control. Wow, 1 mana flash, immediately attach. Equipped creature gets +2/+0, equip cost of 4. That is honestly kind of really good in something like a mono red deck. Although, maybe not in a mono red, traditional style deck. But, you know, things like Fervent Champion that can just pick this up immediately for the free ski. It's not bad. Let's check out the 2 cards that we couldn't read because, well, let's be real, I can't read other languages. 5 mana for this Human Barbarian, Trample, 4/4. So far, solid stat lines. Whenever attacks, oh, it has pack tactics, okay. So whenever activated, you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, deals damage to target creature equal to the sacrificed creature's power. You're swinging in, you have all your creatures attacking. Sacrifice a creature. Deal damage to target creature equal to sacrifice creature's power. It's not fantastic. I'm not gonna lie to you. But it will get rid of things like Death Touch. It'll clear the way of that stuff, which, you know, could be okay. Build around? Nah, 5 mana for that. It's a little too costly. Then we have the Jelly, the Ooze Jelly. X in a green, trample. Enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, so it starts out as a 0/0. Split. When the Jelly dies, if it had two more +1/+, probably says 2 or more +1/+1 counters on it. Create a token that's a copy of it. At the beginning of the next end step, that token enters the battlefield with half that many +1. Okay, so you're like splitting it in half. I like that. I like that. I wonder. Yeah, this could be potentially really strong. If it gets exiled, then yeah, just sort of got bodied. But I would be interested to see if this ability would be too strong if it was to give you 2 of the oozes split. So for example, you played this down for 5 mana and you have a 4/4, and then, you know, it dies. Then you get 2 2/2s, and then you destroy those and you get 4 1/1s. That sounds really strong. Sounds like a bad idea. Also, my camera's not hold up. So it wasn't refocusing. Anyways, I like it. I still like it. Don't get me wrong, I still like it. But I'll always want for more. Anyways, thanks everybody for watching. We're gonna call it on today's spoiler dive-in preview, Finanza or whatever. We'll come back tomorrow, do another, and by the time we get through all of them, you know, hey, we'll be at the set, and you and I will both be more educated on what we may want to play and what may be coming our way in case of a day where someone else is playing it. I lost it there in the end. Anyways, thanks everybody for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like down below. Comment in the comment section what your favorite card from today's spoiled little bit was, and what you think the implementations. English is hard for me. How you think that card will be used? The color scheme, the aggro, mid-range, you know, the deck style, all that kind of stuff. Leave it down in the comments below. And I will see you lovely ladies and gentlemen tomorrow. Thanks for watching.